Hello folks, Dave Schmidt here. It's the evening of February 18th as I am doing this recording, and this is the preliminary information for tomorrow's newsletter. First, I want to let you know there will be no program tomorrow night. I had some things come up that are going to keep me very busy that I really need to get done, and there's no urgency for the program because I don't have any specific new information. With that, I want to say thank you very much for the great comments that you gave for the interview that I had last week with Robert Dunlap. A lot of good information in that interview that I had with him. So if you have not watched that, I would encourage you to do so. I'm getting emails from a number of people saying they're watching it more than once because there's such good information that's in there. You can find that on my website, The Cosmic Connections, at the new website address is thecosmicconnections.wordpress.com. Also, it's in with the newsletter that I sent out. I did upload it, the video recording for last week's program up to YouTube, and then sent that in a newsletter as well. So that's what's there. Also, I just want to say that I'm looking forward now to bringing some new series that are going to be coming, because as the funds are going to be coming forward, it's extremely important that we know how to, what is called, I would say, energetically and emotionally handle all of this massive new energy coming into our lives. You've heard me talk about many, many times that the purpose of this money is not about you and I as individuals getting rich so we can suffice our fears to make sure that we're well taken care of, we have sufficiency for our family and everything else, and that we're in good shape in contrast to the rest of the world. That is the old paradigm of how the world looks at money. It's about safety and power and control, about wanting to have more money, and it's what's called an ego-feeding situation. We're moving into a new era that these funds are designed primarily for one primary reason. It's allowing you to become financially independent, where you have the time to do the inner work about expanding our consciousness, expanding our awareness, and becoming stronger, powerful, what we call basically spiritual-based beings, aware, conscious beings. That takes work to do that. It takes work and it takes time. That is one of the predominant reasons for this money coming forward, because everything in life is based around energy. And a lot of that is, how do we process the energy in our lives? Do we allow ourselves to stay at a high frequency level of energy? Because with the high frequency level of energy comes hope and joy and love and happiness, etc., and positive outthinking. The low energy frequencies keep us in the places of fear, anxiety, worry, concern, greed, etc., stuff like that. There are the two predominant emotional states, or what I call conscious thought conditions, that are the most detrimental, that keep us in low frequency situations: fear and judgment. Now, I've added that information into my new workshop talking about those, how it is so important that we understand what is fear, where does fear come into our lives, how do we process this fear, and how we find ourselves throughout the day in forms of judgment toward outside conditions and other people. Judgment is a very subtle one, because it's amazing how many times during the day we find ourselves in our thoughts criticizing or judging other people. What that does, it lowers us into a low frequency vibration. Judgment and fear are the two dominant low frequency vibration thought systems that we all have within our lives. And I'm not saying this to be negative or critical. I'm just saying it to give an expounding understanding of this is the human condition. That's the human condition of what is called ego consciousness. And our job is to be moving into higher consciousness states. And when we do that, then this money becomes a very powerful tool of how we get to allow it to expand and to help other people as well as helping ourselves. Now, those are some of the things I'm going to be talking about in future programs, so that we are preparing ourselves to be in the right conscious, mental, and thought processing state of when the money comes forward. So I've already had discussions with this on Blanca. She's going to be joining me on this. We're going to be using a specific book as a guide to kind of help us through this process, and that's where we're going to be in some of the future programs. With that, again, if you really want to get this content of what really happens and how important this is, come to the workshop, because that's where I spend a whole day basically describing and talking about where the money comes from, what is its purpose, what are its sources, and how do we handle this abundance coming into our lives so that we are higher conscious energy beings. Thank you very much, and hopefully then I should be back next week, but I want everybody to have an absolutely wonderful week. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.